Hello YouTubers out there, this is Jerry Sadovia at the Movies. So today we're taking a look at Jeepers Creepers 3, which is the third in the trilogy, obviously, by writer-director Victor Salva. And the original Jeepers Creepers came out in 2001, which I saw in theaters back in at that time. And it deals with that monster, the Creeper, which hasn't been explained even up to this point what this monster is or what it's doing, but basically every 23 years it sort of comes out of hibernation and looks to maim its victims and attack them and get their organs, eyes, anything it can to sort of regenerate itself into what is not clear, except it makes the creature strong and it has bat wings and so on. But there's no real explanation as to what the Creeper really is, what sort of a monster it is. It could be something ancient, who knows. Those questions are not necessarily answered in this third film. So, apparently, Jeepers Creepers 2, which came out in 2003, which is a horrible film, one of the worst horror sequels of all time, this one is a slight improvement, and obviously there are going to be many that disagree. Other reviews I've read have said, well, I've waited 14 years, which is since Jeepers Creepers 2, to see a new Jeepers Creepers movie, and this is the best they could do. Well, I'm not exactly sure that it was a whole 14 years. Secondly, the screenplay itself serves almost as a blueprint for something that should have been fleshed out a little bit better than what we get here. So, anyway, here it is. Actually, Jeepers Creepers 3 is not exactly a sequel. It takes place, and I think this is rather dumb, in between the events of Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. So, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Jeepers Creepers 1, if you remember at the end of that film, the Creeper decides to take hostage a victim and fly away with this victim, which, of course, he maims and takes out the eyes, and, you know, watch out for them peepers, just like the song Jeepers Creepers song goes. The thing is that Sergeant Tubbs, played by Brandon Smith in the first Jeepers Creepers, and this is when the whole police force, essentially of this small town, has her guns aimed at the Creeper and is ready to kill it, flies away. So this particular character comes back in a slightly bigger role in Jeepers Creepers 3. So technically, Jeepers Creepers 3 is Jeepers Creepers 1.5. It serves as a semi-prequel. Not really crazy about that idea. And now, Sergeant Tubbs, he joins forces rather reluctantly with Sheriff Tash Tego, played by Stan Shaw. And there's some band of avenging outsiders who are ready to destroy the Creeper, to destroy it to smithereens. In the meantime, there's some young bikers who get a little too close to the Creeper's truck. There's a clean-cut teen couple, which seems like it may as well have been from CBS School Break special than this movie. But the best performance in the movie is by Meg Foster. Now, she plays an eccentric grandmother to the young girl who's living in the farm with her. And Meg Foster's character keeps seeing her dead son as a ghost, obviously, and that character works. She brings a lot of gravity to the performance, even though it's sort of short-shrifted in favor of all these other elements that don't really mix well with the rest of the picture. So she digs up a hole in the back of her farmhouse, and in it, when she digs it up, she digs up a hole, and she finds the severed hand of the Creeper. And when you touch the hand of the Creeper, it somehow makes you levitate up in the air just a little bit, and your eyes turn white, and you see certain visions which we never see in the movie. What these visions are, I don't know. It somehow gets us closer to the Creeper, perhaps, but it's almost like a telepathic thing, but nothing ever comes out of it. There are some inconsistencies of this movie, so considering it takes place right after Jeepers Creepers 1, one of the main things that's wrong is the fact that the truck that the Creeper drives around in beating you, that is, that license plate number, which in fact means I'll be eating you. But anyway, this truck has booby traps. It has like the jaws of death in the back of the truck as soon as you open the door, and the seats, they have some sort of it's weaponized. Something comes right out and can impale you in the head. I mean, it's just crazy. None of this was suggested in the original film at all, that it had these booby traps. So there's that element. Also, the fact that if you shoot at this truck, the bullets ricochet, and there are no tires on the truck's wheels. I mean, it's really rather odd, and it would have been alright to accept those things if they had been established before, and they never were. So there's that issue. Now, the main problem, I think, with the creeper in this film, and there are a couple of scenes that are actually very well done, but there isn't the mixture of dread and unseen horror, or horrors that await you as there were in the original Jeepers Creepers. But one of the things is that the creeper always worked best as a nocturnal presence. And in this film, we see him in the daylight all the time. And that takes something away from it, because you see him a little too clearly. It's sort of like, what happened to Freddy Krueger after a while in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. He was in the shadows, and the more and more as the films went on, he was, he came out of the shadows. He didn't recede. So it was almost like it didn't have that mystery that it once had. There's something more mysterious about the monster that you don't quite see enough of. It's always kept in the shadows. It's always scarier that way. Beyond that, I don't hate this movie. I think, for the most part, it's mediocre, but it doesn't even stand up to the original film. It's, as I said, much better than the second one. The second one was just horrible, I thought. Now, the weird thing about this movie is that it got a one-night showing only in, I think it was in October. And then it got yet another one-night showing not long after that in some theaters. So it didn't get a full theatrical release. And then Sci-Fi, which is how I saw it, probably not the best way, but nevertheless I was curious, and I didn't even know this was a thing, by the way. I knew they were working on the third film, but I had no idea it even got, a one-day release only. But the interesting thing is that it showed, so they have been showing it now on Sci-Fi, and they are continuing to. And then on December 26th, it's coming to DVD and Blu-ray of this year. So I don't really, this is a weird strategy. I don't know what is the reason behind this. The world premiere of the film was canceled. I haven't read why, but I suspect it's because Victor Salva himself is, he was a pedophile. So there was that, and it's an incident from 30 years ago from his first film, Clown House. A couple of incidents, anyway. But I don't know if that's the case, because, again, if you're working with a director whom you do 3 Jeepers Creepers movies, he's done a few other films since Clown House, what is the reason behind canceling a world premiere of a movie? It could be because of the current climate, not just with respect to pedophiles, but sexual allegations of misconduct and this sort of thing that's going on right now, left and right in Hollywood, and also in our nation's capital. So, anyway, you won't hate the movie. I mean, some reviews I've read hate Jeepers Creepers 3. I don't hate it. I just sensed that it was more of a blueprint. It was almost like an unfinished first draft, and it could have been much more. It seems like there's some ambition here. But the problem is not a lot of it is fleshed out. But Meg Foster gives the best performance. There are a couple of thrilling scenes, and even the truck, which is ridiculous. At first it got me on edge when I first saw the thing that boomeranged. It was like a dagger that boomeranged out of the back of the truck from its exhaust pipe, it looked like. That caught me on edge. I mean, there were a couple of moments like that. But overall, though, it's just, it's very, well, let's put it this way, it's half-assed. It's just not all there. It needed more punch, more vitality. There's so much they could have done with this. I don't believe in always revealing too much of the background of a particular monster, or certainly something like this, which is complete evil. If you recall in the first Jeepers Creepers, one of the deleted scenes was the fact that the creeper had was able to speak, and that scene was deleted. So instead, in the first film, one of those moments I really liked is when he was walking around after he just killed a cop, walking over to the car, the wreckage, or getting the guy's head, and he's whistling the Jeepers Creepers tune. It's moments like that from the first film that remind you why that first film worked so well. It wasn't a great movie, but it was certainly a good one. And this third film just falls really short. But it's an improvement on the second film. Now, the thing is that the second film, I liked how the second film ended. It was the best part of that movie. And I don't want to give away too much, but I was hoping to see a sequel to that, with bringing back the character of Ray Wise. But obviously they're not doing that. Supposedly there's going to be Jeepers Creepers 4. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a devotee of the series, but I do like the first film a lot. So there you have it. That's my review. All right. And this is Jerry Side of the Movies, signing off.